Why don't you introduce yourself and what branch of service you were in?
My name is Maryann Mineo, and I was in the United States Air Force.
And you were in for 5 years?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Tell a little bit about your background in service. I see here that you went through basic in Lackland and then you went to Barksdale. Why don't you just give a quick overview of your service time?
Oh my goodness, you really want me to remember back that far, huh?
Yeah.
I had gone at the time when it was like, I don't know, I was in nursing school and I guess I wasn't happy and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like just, after capping, that was like 57, 58, I just said, that's it, I'm done. And I went into the Air Force. Now, why did I sign up for the Air Force? I'm not sure, okay? But it was the Air Force, and had to go to Syracuse to take all these tests, get sworn in. I mean, everything kind of took place in a big hurry. And then they flew us to Texas. I mean, it was like I was up all night. I don't know, I was exhausted. Of course, as soon as we checked in, they put us to work. And I thought, oh my God, I'm so tired. I just need some rest. Anyway, Lackland, heat of the summer. It wasn't summer, but it was warm down there. And I don't know, I didn't mind training too much. It was different, and it was, very regimented, obviously, a lot of discipline. I don't know if I was used to it or if I just got used to it, and a couple of things happened, like a couple of my neighbors were down there at the same time, and we did get together, which was nice. A couple of my neighbors, they were friends, boys, that I grew up with, so I got to see them. And then after basic, it was from there to Barksdale Air Force Base, which was a SAC base. And apparently, whatever my test scoring was, they said you could take these, I don't know what they called it, bypass test or something. Apparently I was highest in like mechanical or something like that. I guess, I don't know what that would have made me. Maybe somebody to take care of an airplane or something, who knows. But anyway, so I took these extra tests for like, to get into the medical field.
Okay.
And when I got to Barksdale, of course, I can't remember now we didn't have a roommate, but what you had was, in the barracks were really nice. They were really nice there at Barksdale. But we had our own room and then just a bathroom between. Mm-hmm. And so I got to be very good friends. In fact, we're still friends to this day. With her name was, at that time, was Patricia Fargo. And she was a draftsman. Lovely. We talk, we write, we still keep in touch after all these years, and it's been, 30-some years already. Mm-hmm. So, and then I think I worked in the operating room. That was kind of where my specialty was. I always liked surgery anyway. Mm-hmm. And it was different. I mean, I learned a lot of things because it was a long time ago, and you had to wash your own instruments, you had to pick your own instruments, you had to learn how to obviously use them, be prepared to assist the doctors. Mm-hmm. And meet the anesthesiologist. I mean, as I think of it today, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it all was scary. It really was, Mm-hmm. And they didn't, of course you're working with military. Mm-hmm. And so I think like the surgeries that they did were hernia, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some female things, hemorrhoid. It was a whole different type of surgery that I got used to later on in life when I worked in the operating room. Some accidents, fractures, broken, that kind of thing. I don't know. It was, and I met some lovely, lovely people. I had, can't even remember now. It was an older lady that was can't remember her name either. See, that was my head nurse. She took few of us under her wing, obviously. You know, somebody always takes care of you.
Mhm.
And then assigned to, and I can remember the one guy's name was Wambal, W-A-M-B-A-L. Big, husky, black fellow, nice as he could be. And he just taught me everything. I mean, he told me how to, he's the one that was like my mentor, or my preceptor, as they call him today.
Okay.
And he kind of taught me, you know, how to pick the instruments, how to wash, we had to sharpen needles, we had to do the gloves. I mean, nobody does that today. Everything is disposable.
Right.
Now. I mean, it's the easy way out. And we had to do our own packs and how to wrap for, you know, doing the sterilization. So I'm thinking, well, I mean, I think I did a lot back then. I was just a young girl. You know, I was only 18, 19 years old. So, you know, and never been away from home, which is another hard thing to do. But, you know, meeting the nurses, the anesthesiologist, I can still remember one of the anesthesiologists. She was a nurse anesthesiologist, a nurse anesthetist, they would call it. And her name was, I think she was a Major Sherpack. I can still remember her, beautiful lady. I was trying to think of this one doctor's name that kind of oversaw it all. I want to say Barth, but I'm not quite sure. So, you know, I mean, I worked days. It was a day job. You had to take call, though. You know, so, yeah, you get up early and the shift is like 7 to 3:30. And probably, and they provided us white uniforms and you went to work and you had to put on the scrubs, of course, to do the surgery and when you worked in Central and that kind of thing. Eat in the mess hall, they feed you. I developed a very good taste for SOS, as they called it. And to this day, I still like it. So, well, you know, creamed beef on toast. It was very good. I did like it. I always did like it. And the food was always very good. The barracks, the barracks was set up like right next to, I think NCO prep school or NCO, some officers or sergeants came for training. And they just happened to, that barracks happened to be next to us, our women's barracks. So, you know, you get to meet people that way. But and the hospital was like, I probably walked maybe half a block to the hospital on the base. And I don't know, I did surgery mostly. And then at one point they had me doing like outpatient clinic. And to be just like, I don't know, down here, like the Arnett system where you go in as an outpatient and, you know, you see the doctor for whatever. So it'd be like working in a clinic. And I did that too. I don't know, I guess you kind of develop skills in a little bit of everything, okay? But I always prided myself in keeping my room clean, you know. And when they did the inspections, I always got praised. In fact, I found a picture of my room one time. You know, I always shined up the floor, made sure they could see your face in it. And a couple of the older sergeants like took me under their wing and they taught me how to polish up my shoes so they were, you know, good for inspections and stuff like that. Of course, you know, you didn't have a lot of that after you got to your training, after you got to your actual assignment, because, you know, Lackland is where you had to learn how to polish. You know. But I still, to this day, I polish my granddaughter's shoes for school. I want them to look nice, you know. I probably should teach her how rather than me do them, but I always polish her shoes. I hate them when they're all scuffed up. So, and anyway, what else can I tell you about that?
Well, let's go back a little bit. You graduated from school in the courting area, I assume?
Yes, CFA. It was
okay. And
high
then,
school at that time.
Yeah, and then you went to nursing school.
I went to St. Joe's here.
St.
Yeah,
Joe's
and I even had a scholarship, which my parents, of course, were grateful for. And I can't tell you, I don't know if I just immature. How do I know? At this age now, I'm not really sure. If I look back, I think I'd kick my kid 100 times. Over.
Yeah, we all want to do that at some point, and know that somebody wanted
To do that to us, absolutely,
Yeah.
right.
So you said that you went through capping, which meant how far did you go in nurses training?
Well, you start out like in the fall and you go through May, which is capping. So it's like 6-7 months.
Yeah,
and
basically the first two semesters,
right,
or first year.
Right.
That was a 3-year program.
Yes,
Okay.
it was a hospital.
So that's when you decided to go into the air, or you decided to leave the nursing school and go into the Air Force.
Yeah. My parents didn't like it too much. They were very unhappy. And I did it anyway. See, defiance even then. And now, like I said,
Long time process to decide to do that? Or just more spur of the moment, very quickly?
I think more spur of the moment, what am I going to do, you know? That kind of thing.
Okay. And apparently you used some of your training from that year towards your Air Force time.
Absolutely, I did.
And then used what you learned in the Air Force afterward? Did you stay in the medical field when you came home?
I went to Corning Community College and got my degree, and I'm, my nursing, yes.
Oh, you're an RN now?
I am an RN, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you became an RN anyway?
Yes, I did. When I had all this big interruption, which, you know, if you think of it, it's so foolish. You know, so yeah, I was...
Either very foolish or very wise.
I don't know, but I did work at Corning Hospital like for 31 years before I retired.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, I had various jobs. It's the same thing. You start out one place. I used to work like the evening shift, 3 to 11, because I had, you know, a couple of kids. And so I would work the evening shift.
Hi there.
Hi, folks.
Hi there.
Hi, Jim.
I recognize that fella. Hi there.
Hi.
And if
Jim,
you
how's
want
it
to
going?
know how, I said one.
Let's go back to where we were. So you used what you had learned in the Air Force in your later career. Let's take another step here. You were in 5 years. Did you ever consider staying in and making a career of the Air Force?
At one time, yes, but then I decided, then I got married.
Okay.
There's always a pitfall somewhere
along the line.
Right?
There are those who would comment about marriage, but that wouldn't be me.
No, but so by getting married and then having a baby, you know, military today, you can get pregnant, stay in, you know, so it wasn't that way back then. That was a long time ago. Absolutely.
And decided to come back to Corning. And
eventually, yes.
And you went on to become a nurse.
Yes.
The era during which you were in the military was during the Cold War.
Korean Cold War.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that affect, let's start off with, how did that affect your decision to join the military? Was there anything?
No. I don't think so.
It was just one of those things that you wanted to do.
It was just something. It was something to do at that particular time. It had nothing to do with
get Maryann out of Corning.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with, you know, military service. I mean, my brother was in the Army. My other brother was in ROTC in Cincinnati. He was in the Army. You know, there's a lot of military history. You know, my husband was Air Force. His brother was Air Force. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of cousins that were all Navy.
Okay.
And my son today is in the Navy Reserves, and he took his commission, so he's already, he's got like 16, 17 years in already, because he joined when he went to college. And he was, you know, Mom was footing the bill, and he was trying to supplement. And so he joined the military reserves, and that was tough for him too, because, you know, he was in New York. He had to find rides and get on the subway to go to his weekend training and stuff like that. So it wasn't as easy as we think of it today.
Yeah.
You can just go up here to the reserve center and you're there. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't indeed. How did the world situation with the Cold War affect your service? Were there any things happening on the base that related to that? Were there, what was the situation? How did that affect you?
Oh my goodness, so long ago. So long ago, huh?
And that's why we want to capture these.
Yeah, I know, but that's why it was a Strategic Air Command and B-52s.
Okay.
So there was a lot of activity there, and I almost think at that one time it was like, wasn't it Cuba? I think something about Cuba being the ships in Cuba.
Yep.
And
the missiles in Cuba.
Yeah, and President Kennedy at that time.
Right.
So yes, there was a lot of turmoil at that time, me getting ready and making sure that these people, they'd have drills at all hours of the night, and everybody be running to jump into their planes and get ready to go. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we had to go to the hospital with these drills. So yeah, I mean it affected us that way. But again, when you think of it now, I'm thinking, God, I should have been more afraid at the time, and I really wasn't because I was too young and too stupid. Probably, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's hard to know.
Would you recommend to a young woman today joining the service?
Well, now there is double-sided because I think I have mixed feelings. I would say in one breath, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The military service didn't hurt me one bit. There's some very good discipline, okay? I mean, and to this day, no matter where I have worked in Corning Hospital or whatever I do as far as volunteering, they always say, there's that drill sergeant again. They always know I was in the service because of the way I'm drilled, or you know what I mean, I'm regimented, organized, you have to have things done. I'm never late for an appointment, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There are so many things that I have based my own lifestyle, my values from what I learned in the military. Mm-hmm. So absolutely not. I mean, that part of it, I would certainly recommend. I think what bothers me today is because we live in a different type of world, and women that go in the service are expected, like I never went overseas or anything, but if you join, you may be flying combat, you may be the tail gunner, you may, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You may be in the infantry walking and it doesn't matter that you're a female. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Every woman is not made or able to function under those situations. So I guess depending on the type of person you are, mm-hmm. I mean, if you're strong, and I don't mean just physically strong, mm-hmm. I mean emotionally, mm-hmm. and you can do something like that, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But, look at what's happened between Desert Storm and, this Iraqi thing now with women. Yeah. I mean, they've had to leave their homes, little babies. Mm-hmm. The grandparents are taking care of their kids. They're out there fighting a war, and their family is back here. Well, now, say, as a female, but again, like I said, it's a different world. So how do I know that this part is, okay? Mm-hmm. I really don't. Yeah. Okay? So probably I would answer them the same way I'm answering you. It would probably be, well, how do you really feel about it? Mm-hmm. What kind of things have you done? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't know. But okay. I probably would say, if that's what you really want to do, go for it. And hopefully, if I knew the person, on a personal mm-hmm. level, then I would probably be very honest and just lay it out. because it ain't all peaches and cream, obviously.
No, but then no job is.
Absolutely not. And you know, I mean, you know, they talked about, you know, with Clinton there, you remember about, you know, gay people in the military and stuff. I was there when I was there.
Of course.
But, you know, nobody bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I went to NCO, I went to prep school, you know,
Mhm.
they sent you out. I was at Barksdale Air Force Base, and right on Barksdale, it was Bossier City, which is like, you know, from here to, I don't know, I know Myers, so I don't know, but like a mile down the road, but on the same base was another base and a base. And so I went there to prep school, and these two twins who had been in the service forever, who were whatever, gay or whatever, they taught me the drill that I had to learn to get through that prep school. You know what I mean? You had to be able to drill them. You had to march the whole unit. You had to be able to march them. Certain movements you had to do and get them back in front of you. And they taught me. I mean, when I went overnight, you know, they were drilling me. So that's another part of it. But gee, most people were honest. You know what I'm saying? You know, friendly. Most of them were well disciplined as far as knowing, you know, what to do, what not to do, and you know, I don't know. It was just I liked the part about, you know, saluting, being reg. I like that kind of thing. And I'm still that way today. So yeah.
So when you went in, there was really no big shock to you about the way you were treated and so on and so forth. You didn't find it to be a problem to be in basic training and learning the things you were learning. You adapted to it rather well.
I think so. I think so.
Well, you probably saw others who didn't, and so you could compare yourself with some who didn't.
Oh yeah, and people did leave. I mean, everybody didn't get through basic training, obviously, but you know, at that point, by the time I got started, you know, like I said, they had us working the first day I got there. I got used to it in a hurry, and I knew what you had to do to get by. So
yeah, I'm surprised. I was surprised by that. I'm glad you brought it up again. You arrived there probably by train.
Nah, they flew us. And then you get on a bus, and then you bus, and then a bus out there.
Okay, now you get there, you're tired, but they put you to work. And what kind of work did they put you to?
Oh, I don't know. It was something. It was like laundry or something. It was in the big old laundry, and yeah. And I can vaguely remember it, but you know, and I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, how long is this going to go on? I just want to go home and go to bed. And I don't even know, I almost think we were at the hospital. I can't really remember whether, I know we weren't at the barracks, but it must have been maybe like processing center or something after they got us through there. And then we went to work, and I think it was in the
group that you
laundry.
went with were all females, or were there males as well that were then branched off from you?
There were males in the group with us because they were sworn in at the same time in Syracuse.
Okay.
And then when we got to Lackland, they went one way, we went another way. Yeah, absolutely.
Any of the women from Corning that you knew before you went?
No, there was one girl, I think her name was Judy or Judith Catchpole. I think she was from Addison, a little short girl, that went at the same time, and I think she's the only one that I even recall the name or anything about her. You know, most of my friends after that were either like, you know, Pat that lived next door to me, or people that I worked with in the hospital, that kind of thing.
And how long were you at Lackland before you finished your training and went to Barksdale? Roughly.
Oh my God, roughly, what are you, it's like it's 8 weeks, 6-8 weeks of training.
Oh, that's all?
That's all it is.
Okay, and then all the rest of the time was in Shreveport?
Yeah, in Shreveport. And, wow, they had a big old strip after I learned you know, you could go out and you could drink and you could, you know, party, and I mean, you know, I learned how to do that too, you know. I mean, it was this big old strip and down in Shreveport that everybody went on the strip, and it was just bars. You know. At that time, it was different. I mean, I even smoked at that time. I didn't smoke, but I did because everybody was smoking.
Oh yeah.
You know.
If you walked into a bar, the ceiling looked like it was
right,
about this high because there was smoke from there on
And
up.
I can't even remember if I drank, like, you know, really wasn't old enough to drink. I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I really don't remember, like, drinking a lot. Maybe a beer now and then, but not to drink. But I did smoke. But of course, I'm 64, which nobody needs to know. I'll be 65 pretty soon. But I haven't smoked in 40-some years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well,
I'm 65. I haven't smoked in 18 years.
Oh, well, see, I'm doing better, right? Yeah.
No, 15 years. 15 years.
No, it's good. Whatever. Every day that we go, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I mean, cigarettes were cheap, and you know, going to the PX and buying the kind of things that you could buy, I mean, it was wonderful. And then when I come home, and I mean, you know, that was one of the first things I would buy and go get cigarettes. And I mean, I think I paid as high as $2.50 a carton or $2. And now I would smoke just because they're $40 a carton, for heaven's sakes. Who wants to spend that kind of money?
Yeah. How many things did you miss? Did you feel like you missed when you came home? Were there many things that you look back and said, darn, I really enjoyed this part of the Air Force, and I don't have this here as part of my life in Corning?
Oh, really? Well, no.
Or by that time, as a mother
because I was
and
a
wife?
mother, because I was a mother and, you know, wife at that. Yeah, I don't think so. It was like, and then my husband got shipped out. I don't know, where'd he go now? I want to say Puerto Rico. And of course, we didn't go. And then things went downhill after that. But anyway, that's immaterial. He has since deceased, and you know, we have two grown children, obviously, and I'm a grandmother already. You know, my daughter has.
So you met him
In the service, and he was from Buffalo.
Oh,
Believe
okay.
it or not, he was from Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we're very good. I'm a good relationship with the family, obviously, and I still keep in touch with my mother-in-law who lives in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, let's take one hop back to the Cold War era, because that's kind of that's something that Heather primed me on, and I think is kind of interesting, especially with a SAC base. A SAC base, the big bombers,
right.
that flew long missions.
Oh yeah.
How much of the medical treatment that you were involved with related to the mission of those flyers? Were there things from? Let me ask a very direct question. Did you ever get a flyer in who had been wounded in some way as part of the mission?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. And I think had there been anything like that, they probably would have sent them to a bigger, you know, Air Force Base hospital or someplace. I would think. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Again, you know, Cold War times, so a lot of training, but no real, you know, injury or.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't like,
was there a lot of secrecy? Were there things happening on Barksdale Air Force Base that you were
not privy to, because I was a low man on the totem pole anyway, and I mean, I would think things that on a need-to-know basis only.
Okay.
I would think, yes. You know, I'm just falling into this because I'm not really sure. I don't recall. And you know, when I think of things like now, as I've worked over the years, you know, you're not always the people to tell you everything. And so I would just say that, you know, like I said, you knew when the raids were going on or when the drills were going on, and you had to be on alert. But as far as what actually went on or where they went, yeah, no, I never knew any of that.
One thing, your highest rank what is that you've written down?
Airman first class.
Oh, first class. Okay. I thought
I
it was
think I had
A.
3 stripes.
Okay. Yeah.
Airman first class.
It looked like A/C. It's
Yeah,
Airman first class.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And is there, keeping in mind what the purpose of the project is to learn, to capture the history of veterans, is there anything else you want to tell us before we close the interview?
Oh, what would I want to tell you? Well, I had said this to you that I didn't know if I had anything to offer, and you said everybody has something. I mean.
And you did.
Well, yes, and since I've been going to the women's veterans group, the lady that got me involved was from Corning, and she was in WW2, and she really wasn't a nurse, but she worked in a hospital and that kind of thing.
A hospital in Long Island?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think they were down, I want to say they were down south.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But there were so many because my neighbor was in the WAC and she was in nursing. She wasn't a nurse, but you see a lot of these people that I'm involved with were in the nursing corps, but they weren't really nurses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the title given to them.
Right.
But anyway, I just, it's like to listen to them. And really and truly, I've been going to the meetings now for over a year, well, probably 2 years now, because this lady, like I said, she's since died, she had leukemia. They don't really talk, see, nobody ever talks about what went on, or what they did, or what happened wherever they were. The couple of them weren't literally in combat or anything, and none of them were in MASH units or that kind of thing. And even though most of them were all stateside. I have a very dear friend that I was a nurse with at Corning Hospital who was in the nurse corps, WW2. She is a nurse. She went over on the boat, you know what I'm saying? She went over and actually was in combat. I guess in keeping with the women's veterans, and I'm glad I'm a veteran. I'm proud to be a veteran, and I'm proud to be associated with these ladies and these women that served in a wartime situation. And even though they may have been stateside, all the good that they did, and I mean, there were a lot of sick people. I mean, you think of World War II, you think about, I mean, look at all the poor veterans that are still suffering.
Still in veterans hospitals and have been all along.
Yes, well, and then you've got the latest things, and I guess that's probably what bothers me the most is, they're out to try to close veterans hospitals, and I think they need them. I think, especially the way we tend to think we have to fight everybody's war and we have to be everybody's keeper. I know somebody has to do it, and somebody has to take the initiative. I guess we wouldn't be America if we didn't do it that way. I guess that's the way it is. But I would hope that these people would be able to, have a veterans hospital or a clinic somewhere to help them along the way. So I don't know if if that answered your question or not.
Yeah. If you've got anything else, otherwise I'll wrap it up. It's up to you.
Wow.
It's your story.
I know. And just like I said, I think in some respects, if I look back, now don't forget I'm older now, but if I look back now, I would say...
Remember that you're younger than me when you start talking about you being older.
I'm almost there. I wished in some ways that I had maybe not gotten married. I mean, you never want to trade your kids in or anything like that, don't get me wrong. But, and maybe pursued the military more and like gone overseas or done different things.
But you were still very young at that point to be making those decisions.
Probably, and I guess one good thing that came out of, you know, being in the military was I did use the GI Bill to go back to school. Okay, so that did benefit me, and you know, like I said, I did get my RN, and it was to the military. So that part helped me a lot.
Great.
So probably that would be the only thing. I made several lasting friends, and at this point in my life, there's a couple that live in Florida, retired, military, that I just talked to her the other day. I called her. Her and her husband's very sick. He was a tail gunner in and at the SAC base. And she had like 3 boys that she was raising, and they lived on base, which was nice. And we lived off base after we got married. But anyway, and then this other friend of mine who, Pat, and those are the only people that I've really stayed in touch with.
But it's amazing for that lengthy period of time, from 1963 until now.
Oh yeah,
that's 40 years.
That's 40, and I take that back. I have another friend lives in Portland, Indiana. That she worked with me in the hospital, and unfortunately something happened, and she left somewhere along the way. But we write at Christmas time, so I do still keep in touch with her.
Okay.
But it was a good experience, and I wouldn't. I don't think I'd trade it in for anything else right now. But
doesn't sound like you would.
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maryann Mineo. That's the end of the tape. If you'll just sit there for 1 second, I'll turn off the tape here. If I can remember which button goes where.
It probably tells you.
Then with the bifocals.